Gerrie, please. Gerrie, please, I need this. I know I owe you that 400 grand, but please just be on my show. I haven't gone on a date in 3 months. I need this, Gerrie, please. You'll do it. Oh, Gerrie, thanks so much, dog. Whoa, we're back, baby. Gainline.
Gainline's back. You're now at the Rugby Collective. Exciting time. Back on video. We're not leaving it behind. And today with Gerrie Visser, coach at UCT, the Varsity Cup team, having fun. So yeah, Gerrie, how you been in these times? How you been managing everything with the lockdown and all that jazz?
It's been crazy times. It's been lekker. Missing the rugby a bit, I must say.
Yeah.
But just trying to cope. Staying safe, staying at home, and just hopefully stuff can get started.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. That's all you can ask for.
Oh, cool.
All right, Gerrie, before we started, you said I can ask you anything, So I'm going to get into it. UCT versus Stellies, 8-7. I want to, we gotta dive straight to that. I mean, do you have a comment? I'm not going to ask you anything specific. I'm going to let you say what you want to say. What are your thoughts on that game? What happened?
It was kind of a frustrating game because I think we created quite a lot of opportunities. We just didn't take it. And then the thing that sticks out the most to me is probably the end where we worked quite hard for the penalty.
Yeah.
We got it. Then the ref decided not to give it, or she said advantage over. And then we sort of lost the game in that moment. But to me, the frustrating part of that whole game, I think we did more than enough to win. We couldn't close, just couldn't get across that try line. And I think also we knocked our head a bit. We kept going for lineouts. We lost like 5 or 6. I can't completely remember. And I think if we maybe adapted a little bit sooner as coaches as well, and said maybe, okay, start tap and going or change the plan a bit earlier, I think it may be a better result. But it's just frustrating. I think we created a lot. We just didn't put the points on the board.
Yeah, I think on that point, just sort of as a fan watching the games, I had a feeling that a lot of the games you guys played, you guys could have won. You guys looked better than the teams you were playing. But you just made it a game. Even the games where you guys won, even against UJ, where it looked like you ran over them, the score was, a bit close. And I know Wits, you guys tied to Wits, Hooker, you guys, it looked like you guys dominated them, even though they had a big scrum. You managed, even though they had a very big scrum, as opposed to your guys. And with the lineouts, you guys manage them all. Even though you won, it still looked like a game. So is that a frustration that's been happening throughout the years that you keep teams in the game?
I have to say it's a bit of a frustration but it also, I think, credit to the players. We came. It's a new coaching staff. It's Craig. It's Tom Dawson. It's me, and we changed quite a lot, different things and different aspects. So I think for them to go from one style to another style was also. And also after game 3 and 4, we just got better and better and better. We started flowing a bit better. And that's also just coaches I was quite new. Tom was new as well. Just changing a few things. And it took players a time to adapt to it and sort of get control of it, which was the one thing. The other thing is also, I think we need to take a little bit of flick ourselves, player-wise and coaching-wise. We gave a lot of penalties away the whole season. Was one of the frustrations I had. Every time we saw the leading and we're getting dominant, it's penalties from the breakdown, penalties from the set piece. We gave away a lot of set piece penalties, and that's something to work on. That's just discipline. It's not really anything else. So if we could we had pieces of the game together, but not the whole game.
Yeah.
I think if we could stick the whole game together, I think we'll be a really good side. And I thought it was starting to happen. Marty's was starting, and then the corona hit us. So
everything,
that's the process.
I suppose. So then can I ask, and I'm going to talk about it a bit more, would you feel that there's sort of a belief now in that UCT first team that guys, actually, this season we can do something, and get something going properly?
I think so. I have to say, I've watched it from afar a bit as well. And I do think that changed completely. We went to UJ, and for me as a coach, it was we didn't believe. It was like, we're here to play. If we win, we win. And that gradually just started, that Porch game. Just the Oaks were sort of surprised, or I was also sort of surprised. And I think that belief started to kick in. Hey, we're a good side, we're clicking, we're getting what we need to get. And that against the Maltese, because I think before we played Maltese, they beat every team with like 20 to 50 points.
Literally, the top 40s every week, you know?
Every week. So when we got there, it was we looking to be competitive. And all of a sudden you're in it. And I think that's where the belief sort of came that, hey, they can scrum, they do lineouts well, but we can play. And the idea was to play a bit, to pass the ball, to run, to go at them. And it worked, but like I said, I would like to have seen a little bit more points.
Those things happen. I think we're going to talk a bit more about that, because you said you were new coming in, you, Tom, you know, those guys at UCT. But I think you've tended to be new in a lot of places. Like, you've coached like everywhere. You know, do you mind like telling us that story, and then sort of how you first got into coaching, and then what happened, like school by club by everything, you know?
Okay, I'll try and remember all the places, but I'll keep it real. So like I played a little bit at Stellenbosch. Then I started like coaching when I was young, like 19, 20 basically, for some extra cash, basically what it was. And then we started coaching the smaller schools like Akerstad and all of that. And I was always kind of interested to see like coaches actually just coach plans. That's all it is. And then I thought like, geez, surely we can make people better. You can make a guy pass that cannot pass. You can make a guy step that cannot step. And that sort of caught my interest from quite an early age, that you can change a player to what you want or to what you want him to do. And that sort of was kind of interesting to me, I must say. And then the whole rugby thing didn't pan out, so I started coaching a bit, and I sort of fell in love with it. So I went to, I think from there, I went to Rondebosch, where I coached the Mighty Eagles, the D team and the Eagles, for 2 years. Then I coached the first team and second team with Mike van Reede and Alan Zondag. And and from there on, we went, me and Mike did 1 year at Para NTK. I don't know if they exist anymore, but it's like a club. It was quite like a big club. We coached the under 20 side, the B side. We didn't have great success. I must say, big learning curve for Reda, where I think we won 1 game out of 12. But there you got introduced to club rugby. Like you have to phone players to come train. This is how it works. So I was a young guy. So it was quite a big introduction to what all goes with coaching, like organizing and all that. That was kind of cool, I must say. Then I met up with Alan Zondag, and me and him did at RPC, the Rugby Performance Center, where me and him worked 3 years. It was close to Western Province. We were based in Para, and I worked with him there. We worked with quite a lot of players. Paul got huge experience there. He's a great coach. He's also quite like a thinker of the game, you know, always trying to press forward and be innovative. Then I worked with him. Then I went to Paarl Boys. I was 3 years there. Then I went to Paarl Boys, coached Paarl Boys on the 15s, 14s. Then helped with the senior team, skills and all of that. Then I went to Paarl Boys, coached Paarl Boys for 4 years, the first team. Also did their skills and stuff like that. And then in that Paarl Boys year, I went to UCT for a year or two to coach their club side and to help a little bit with the skills with JJ Gagiano and Mike. And then Kevin Musikant came. You know Kev. He came. And then after my 4 years at Boys, Sean Erasmus came. Then I moved up to St John's College. And then, then I did the St John's. But through all that coaching, the one thing that I really did always love and like, I like to coach players individually. Like that's I dig that. Like I helped quite a few guys, just stepping wise, the finer things in life. Like if you can say it like that. Like you coming from a basketball background as well, putting some class on things. You know, if you play rugby as long as they do, surely you can pass with a bit of class. Doesn't it look like you just
flair,
I like quite to add that flavour to the game, I must say, and that's sort of my coaching story in a nutshell.
Okay, thanks. So we can ask, at a team like first team UCT, do you still sort of have that role where you can pull people to the side and be like, this is how you move off the ball a little bit better? Or is it more just doing the plan now?
Tom is great there, I must say. So Tom does a lot of that. I do a lot of the planning as well. But Tom takes a lot of that off my plate. Then I can be who I am. I can do my thing. That's what's kind of like at UCT, I must say. The Oaks appreciate you for what you add value. So I don't necessarily get stuck with planning on Excel sheets and those type of things. So I get to, which is not my strong suit by a long shot.
Yeah.
So I get pulled to the side, and then I can say to the players, hey, this is how you move, this is how we should pass, this is the UCT way. And I get kind of like free scope there, which is lekker.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy. That's my thing. So it took us a while to connect in that sense. But I must say now we understand. It's our first year together. So now we understand, I like this, I'm good in that, they like that. So I must say that for me, that separates UCT basically from any other club.
Oh, that you get to
any other clubs will force you, you need to fit in. UCT, they sort of see value in you and they try to use you for who you are and what your values are. So that to me is kind of nice, huh?
Yeah, that's quite good. A bit of advertising for any person who wants to coach at UCT. It's a nice place.
Throw it in there.
Yeah, I want to go back. I mean, you spoke about that season when you coached club, the under 20s, and you'd won 1 out of 12 games. Yeah. Sorry to keep bringing it up, but I just want to know, how do you sort of manage attitudes and belief? Because I feel like feeling that you can win the game, is very important. But then, how do you do that after you've lost 7 in a row? Do you have any skills of being like, look, we're a better team? And I think to make it a bit more specific, because at St. John's, especially before you and Kev came, every 7 years you'd have a good season, but there'd be games where, like, if you're going to play a Michaelas or Gerrie, people didn't believe they were going to win. How do you get that belief of like, look, guys, we're going to go out there and play?
It's an amazing question. My thing that I learned quite when I was younger, because I coached Ronald Boss loud, we always took scores, always took 60s against Paarl Boys and that. Yeah. And I realized, like, you can't really always match teams. Like St. John's can't really match, say, Case for that instance. So to talk, players aren't stupid. You would like to think but they're not. So players go and they say, this is going to be tough. Yeah. So my thing was always to make it personal and not so much make it about the game. Make it, hey, did we do what we set out to do, firstly? So, and also, did we say we're going to pass, we're going to step, we're going to create? Did we do that? If we did that, there's little victories in that we could take home and celebrate. Like, I'll always go, if I took a score, I always say, geez, that was great movement. Now, next time, just see if you can get on the inside. So you work on those little things that hopefully makes a player better. And players know, shit, if I do that against a strong team, maybe against a weaker team, I'll get it right. And that sort of the stuff I focus on. I think not to try and focus too much on the bigger picture. We've lost. It's terrible. Can't always talk about the score because players, they know. So then you go about the little things. Did you see in contact? If we did that and that, we would have gotten the ball. So focus on the minute detail. And that's where I learned that rugby is a team game. Don't get me wrong. It's a team game. But if you have individual skill, you can beat players. I can, even against a strong team, if I can beat my opponent, I've actually done my job pretty well. Yeah. And that's the type I love to focus on. It's like, hey, say you play for me, I'll go, hey, if you beat that guy, you've done your bit, and you can take a lot of pride out of that. The score doesn't always really matter. It matters how we play, what we're trying to get right. And that's the stuff I focus on. Or that's what I learned early in my career is focus on the little things. And the bigger things doesn't really matter. But if you keep seeing that score, it's difficult after, like you say, like game 6, to go like, hey, we need to get excited here. Because what are we getting excited about, huh? So, that's like little things like that. Huh?
Yeah, that's actually quite a nice, exciting thought, especially when you are winning games. I think it can apply as well. When you give a team 50, you can be like, okay, but did you play properly? Did you do those small little things? Yeah, that's exciting.
And that's kind of the lack of one. If we're beating a team and we go, geez, they actually just poor because we didn't get much right. We actually just scored touchdowns. So there's a quite a measurable, like what do I bring to the party? Because rugby, when you will probably speak later about this, rugby got insanely, for me, this is a personal opinion, got very planning. Like it's a plan. I always of the individual. I like the personality of the guy. I love it. Guy comes up, he's an angry guy, he likes that. I think we need to harness that much more. The personality of a player and the skill of a player. So I like that.
I want to say, I also like that. Also, even when I like do these little things, I try to sort of force personalities. Even when I was talking to Tom, I was trying to like force the idea of Dane Coles messing up the lineouts and like making it about him. It's like, nah, it's a team thing. And he's like right in those kind of things. But I mean, how do you sort of make it an individual thing where, I mean, sorry, how do you get the player to appreciate that individual thing? Because I mean, like, let's say you're an outside center and every single time you got the ball, you beat the person defending you. You didn't miss a single tackle on either the fullback or the outside center. But then everyone else's other things are going wrong in the team. You know, the forwards aren't right.
Yeah.
How do you get players to remember that and not be like, okay, but I did my job, but now these guys are off? How do you still keep it team-wise when you still make it an individual thing, you know?
I think it's about going to those little successes. Like, if we know one thing is working, like I'll put it quite, like if I coach, I'll put it heavy in a strategy. So say 13 runs through all the time. We'll say, okay, till they tackle him, we're not changing. That's our game model for now. Because he's getting some space. Let's get him the ball. So what's our role in that? Is to pass nicely, is to go forward, is to give him time. When they start marking him up, we'll say, okay, now we're starting the inside ball. Or we skip passing. So you give guys roles in that. But you don't take away, I don't believe in taking away a player's creativity. So I'll say, like, geez, you can see our outside backs is doing well. So let's give them an opportunity. Say the team closes them down. I'll say to the inside backs, now it's time to step up. We need to go forward. We need to break the line. So everyone is involved. They mustn't feel like they've been looked over. And the biggest thing, and this is the way I coach, so it's not really a big thing for me. It's like simple things in rugby give you quality. Like we'll probably chat about it later. Scrumming. Good scrum gives you quality ball. A good pass gives me time and space. So if I know I'm at 12 and I can't really do much, but I can give a good pass, I know for a fact I'm creating on the outside quite a lot. And I try to coach the players that take pride in that. Like Oak with a good pass can get far in rugby without doing too much more. Like if we be honest, Dan Coles is a brilliant, maybe not the best scrummer, maybe not the best line-out thrower, but individually is a great rugby player, like stepping. So if you can just supplement roles, I think that's the way to handle that situation. Like Oaks need to know, like 15 is really good. So if I give him the ball, I'm also going to look good because it looks like I'm creating space for him. Yeah. And if I play with him, I'll probably score a try. So instead of saying like, geez, it's not me, enhance it. You know what I mean? If you get my point.
Yeah, that's making a lot of sense. You know, that's quite exciting news. I want to sort of go back to something you said earlier about where you said sometimes you can't match a team. You know, sometimes the team's just better, like they got more things. And then I was thinking about, I'm going back to school, you know, that's where I mentioned all those things. But like, what is different? Because you coached at Paarl Roos and Paarl Boys and Rondebosch. I mean, those are all fancy schools in St. John's. They're all pretty fancy schools. What's stopping? I mean, like, why is it that generally, you know, in the past, a school like St. John's goes through those dips where they struggle, where a fancy school like Paarl Roos, they keep being consistently good, you know?
Well, again, great question. I do think like their focus, Paarl Roos, Paarl Boys, focus is quite big on their rugby. So they'll recruit, which everyone knows. Where St. John's and that is more of it's more of an all-round school. They're not really always looking for the rugby player. And the rugby has become that type of competitive game where you do need players to do well. You do need depth. You do need that. St. John's, when you played, and I was still there, I think it was 4 teams max under 19, 3 teams under 16, where Paul, those Oaks are at 12 teams under 19, 10 teams under 16. So the depth is the thing. And also, the big thing for me is also the focus. You know, the Joburg season is kind of short, and the Cape Town season is tremendously long. So it's all those, all those little factors. And I think that's why St. John's also goes through those dips. One year they have a good side, or guys like that clicks nicely. The next year maybe not such a rugby focused year, and then the next year after that, the rugby focus again. Where these schools just try and get it on a like sort of on a normal, like every year will
Consistent
be a
basis.
competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably that, and also I think these schools take it very, very seriously.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Paarl and them take it to the next level with the seriousness, and I think that's also going to become a problem. I think you can't be too serious at school. It's still a schoolboy. It's still a schoolboy level. No one's getting paid. I don't think a kid should play for his schooling. You know what I mean? Like, you're telling a kid, you need to play first team because I gave you a bursary. If you don't make it, especially on a 17, 18-year-old, like, geez, now I need to perform every Saturday. I think that's tough. It needs, like you said previously, it needs to be fun. I need to jog out on that field, have a laugh, enjoy the environment, enjoy the school. That's what I believe at schoolboy level, because it gets serious kind of quick.
Yeah, I felt that. And I think it does have an impact. I think this is just me speaking. I think a lot of people step away from rugby because, like, no, it's getting too serious. If I'm going to play a first team, then I'm going to be training. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday break, and they're like, But I think you spoke about sort of the different cultures at school. Let's say you come in as like working with the first team. How do you deal with, like, let's say you want to play a certain way, like, yeah, let the kids go out there, play, enjoy themselves. But the school culture is like, every time we're in a half, we kick. This is how we do it. This is how we play. How do you negotiate that culture difference, if there is a culture difference?
Like we did with St John's, I'll change it by individual, by player. So we'll slowly plant the seed that you can do more. You can pass left and right, you can step. So that makes you more attacking. And then you slowly go. But you need to incorporate the players in that decision. Like, as soon as it becomes from you, for a fact, it's actually just you that believe in that. If the players buy in and they realize, okay, this is the way we're going, we want to be exciting, we're going to try this, then they feel they're part of the decision. But when you take that decision away and I come down and I go, this is what we're doing, all of a sudden Oaks go, it's like a teacher. He's just saying, we just follow. But now if you incorporate it and I say, maybe, okay, I like this, and I say, I kind of think about that. I'll go, okay, let's do both, see what's the best. Then Oaks feel like, geez, but I can say something, I can have an opinion, I can make a decision. And I think then you get the all-round look that you're going for. Like, last year we had a good season at St John's. And the only thing we really did was saying, like, we want to be exciting. This is what we want to do. If that doesn't work, then we kick. If kicking doesn't work, then we attack. So it wasn't really one or the other. It was just, if we kick and they run us back, stop. We're attacking them. If we attack and they attack, we kick. So it was a simple decision, and the Oaks loved it. The Oaks went like, okay, so if I'm the last man, the Oaks going to tackle me, I can chip and grab it, and I can take a chance. If they catch it and kick it back, okay, then we stop, because then we're getting into trouble. Like a silly thing like that became quite a thing for us. Like the Oaks said, okay, and they loved it, or I think they did like it because of the decision they could make. They involved, they can decide, okay, let's running out of our 22 is working. Okay, let's keep going. Like a Sicilians, we did it. The game is on YouTube, so you'll see it quite heavily.
Yeah, I've seen
we just ran the out of our own 22. I think we gave them about 30 points. Scored about 30 points against us. And then second half, we started kicking and just saying, okay, let's exit. And then we stole a line-out ball here and there, and we started getting into our groove. And that was just, for me, that was exactly what we wanted. That's the change. You want players to say, hey, that's not working, let's change. But they need to have that ability to change. And that's what I believe in. I believe players need to be coached all around so they can go into a game and say, okay, this is not working, let's do this. And now it's not a surprise to everyone. And that's how you change the culture, in my opinion.
How much time does that take? Is that something you can do? Is that a switch, or is that an attitude you can bring in once you get to the season, like in 1 year, when you get there? Especially with things like lineouts. Like, let's say your lineout is struggling. Sometimes that's not a decision kind of thing, because then the other team can also make decisions and be like, we're just going to keep a touch and see what they can do. How do you manage, those kind of things?
So what we try to do, I think it takes a little bit. I've worked with this team quite a lot, last year's team. So it takes, I'll say it takes longer than a year, because it's a mindset. It's a lot to do with a mindset. So what we did, like, just to tell you, so against Cairns, Cairns is kind of an organized team. They're very structured approach. So we try to do no lineouts in the beginning. So just take quick taps, gooi the ball in quickly and play. Not for anything but to get them a little bit nervous. And when we get our first lineup, maybe their first thing is not to contest. Maybe their first thing is just to sort of counter that or that. So just to plant the seed and just try and use our lineouts a little bit cleverly. Like, you know, change it up a bit.
Yeah,
Oaks,
a little bit, yeah.
like, Oaks loves to like video you and say you do that lineup, that lineup. So our thoughts was the whole time in every single game was just to change it up. Like, do the unexpected. Like, Oaks expect you to take a penalty. Quick tap, get the 10, and then we maybe, if they tackle us and we get the penalty, then we go for touch.
Yeah.
But mix it up. And maybe in the 22, have a 2-man lineup or a 3-man lineup. We don't need an 8-man lineup to maul because St John's is never really going to score a lot of mauling tries.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of that thing was just to change it up. You know, like, sort of be creative with what we're trying to do, you know, like, and that's the lovely thing about St John's coaching there. It also taught me quite a lot because you don't have all the players other schools have. So you have to say exactly, I have you in my team. You maybe not the most physical guy, but you're a great player. So I need to use you cleverly. I need to say, okay, Rams, you need to be on the point there because you're good with your feet, you can pass. And it made us think out of the box and it worked. So that's how you change those little, like, players make decisions. Like, why would we do a 4-man lineup if we're not really a lineout team? Let's do something simple. Get up, get the ball. Because we had our philosophy was to get the ball and start playing. So we didn't really worry too much about starters and sets. We just wanted to get the ball out and start moving because we knew after ruck 2 or 3, we move kind of nicely and we play quite high tempo. Then we'll get into our rhythm, and if we get into our rhythm, we were a difficult team to stop.
Yeah, then you can just play. But I'm a fan of that attitude. It makes sense. But then, can I ask again? It may seem sort of the same sort of question, but now at sort of a higher level, when you get to Varsity Cup, and I sort of have a philosophy that, like, when you have a kickable penalty, just kick it, especially in terms of yellow cards and those things. I get so frustrated when people try to do lineouts, because my philosophy is like, look, let's take it in a yellow card example, and I want to know your thoughts on this. If you've got a yellow card and the yellow card just started and you got a penalty, why kick for touch and then take the chance and maybe lose the lineout, something could go wrong, instead of going for poles? And then if you get the 3 points, you're already a man up. If you say you can score now because you've got a man up, you can only score 3-4 minutes later then during the yellow card. So, but now you've also spoke about switching it up game by game. Now, so what are your thoughts on having those direct philosophies of always saying, look, in this situation, we always kick versus game by game?
That's like a question. I love changing things up according to what's happened.
Yeah.
So, like, say for instance, we go. So you mentioned that yellow card. Just wait, sorry. You mentioned that yellow card. I love. Oh shit! Can you see me?
Yeah.
I love if you shoot it up. I love the one thing I do love. If you get a yellow card, why not take 3 points if you can quickly? That means you have about 8 minutes. The first thing those Oaks are saying is shit. They already got 3 points out of the yellow card, which is 10 minutes. So Oaks are going, we can't. Now all of a sudden, they are thinking defensively. When you go for the line-out and it bums out and, like, you lose the ball, they go, success. We get the ball, we can play. So I believe that those little wins, like, put pressure on teams. And, like, for me, a big thing is you need to know who you play against. So if I play, say, for instance, Marty's, the chance that I go for a line-out more will not be great because they traditionally defended well, they're traditionally good in the line-out. So then I'll maybe go for, if our scrum is featuring, maybe go for the scrum, or maybe try the 3 points, or maybe they're not good with playing quick. So quick tap, play, get them moving. Maybe they don't like that. So that's what I mean with change it up. Like, you need to see who you play, and then you adapt your philosophy. But my yellow card philosophy and red card is take the points because you don't know what's going to happen. But that at least makes people think like, shit, we just lost. We just minute 1 of the yellow, and we just got points against us. So the sort of you work on that mindset. So one thing you're going to let me get, they're going to be much more safer. So they're probably going to go, let's just catch, let's just kick out, let's play safe.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what yellow card. You don't want teams to try and attack. You want teams to be like, let's just get this 10 minutes done. And I think your philosophy does that, which I like. But I do like, you need to know who you play against. So if we play UJ, for instance, I know the fullback was good, the wingers was quick, or CUT. I'll say, boys, hey, don't make this loose now. Because if you make this loose, they'll get into play. So let's do scrums, let's do set piece. Because this is, we'll be safer there. But if you're going to start quick tapping against those oaks, you sort of, they'll also come to play. So I think it's those type of philosophies that you just need to fine tune for the game. What you want and what exactly out of those situations.
And then can I ask, have you ever run into a wall? And I know sometimes you have bad games, but where you run into a wall where you're like, look, we're going to try this. But then the opposing team is just not letting you have it. The opposing team's like, you're going to try things. We're going to take the ball slow. We're going to kick deep to you and then make it a, boring game or some sort of tactic. Do you just stick with it? Do you just say, look, they're a little bit better than us right now. Let's just keep at it. Is that sort of the attitude?
I can only talk about my personal opinion. So teams I've coached you as well, and I think you all know, I change immediately. So I believe you need to change on what you coach though. So like if you haven't coached any plan A or B or C, you're not going to be able to change. So you're going to want to change, but then it's maybe going to get more scrappy and it's going to hurt you a little bit more, which has happened to me. So I'll speak out of experience, which maybe you take like a 30-19 to a 50-19 if you're not geared. But what I have learned is, like, I'm a firm believer, you can't bump your head too many times. Like if something's not working, it's not working. So let's change. So we had a simple philosophy. If in St John's, if we lose 3 lineouts in the beginning, we're tapping and going.
You can't.
Quick taps, and then we'll try a line out again. But we are not bumping our head too many times because we need that ball and we can't be losing it the whole time. So for me, I change as quick as I can. If I'm in charge of the team, I'll immediately say, okay, so we're losing ball there and there and there. What did we say? Okay, let's move it a channel wider. Let's maybe look at putting it on the foot, not getting tackled as much, or any little change like that, or maybe change direction a bit, play the blind where we're one-on-one. But I don't believe in hammering it out. Because for me, it's also players then, for me, become, you guys will always say it, like robotic. They're just carrying the ball to carry it. I'm absolutely getting fucked up, but I'll carry it again. Why? Pass the ball, step, move. You can't get as one-dimensional. And I think if you get one-dimensional, teams have you. I believe in change, and I think when change happens, if you say to players, let's do this, small things, but all of a sudden the player gets excited. That's how I feel. I feel he feels like, I've got a chance here. We're changing our plan. I think it can work. It's better than the previous plan because we got one, and it creates a little bit of energy where you maybe were low. And I think it's always good to change because it means you're adapting, you're learning. If you're just doing the same thing, it means you're like kind of like trying to get water out of a stone. That's the problem with rugby sometimes. It gets very one-dimensional.
Yeah, I think it's a bit easier when you run out of ideas, it's easy to become one-dimensional. So it's tough. I want to ask, with the yellow card sort of situation, and we're going to be wrapping up the coaching talk quite soon. So let's say that what are your thoughts on when you have the yellow card? And I may be wrong, because you said earlier that, you guys just gave away penalties. So maybe it was a mistake. But when I was watching your games against Booker, you guys got a penalty yellow card when they were like in your 22 and your 5. And then someone got a yellow, and it looked like one of those, those sneaky yellows, like, nah, this guy's going to score. Let's rather slow the game down a bit. Is that a thing, or was that an actual tactic, or was it just luck or unluck that happened?
Yeah, it was a bit of unluck, but we do tend to try and slow things down, especially when we get yellow card. We do tend to try and play at our pace of what we're comfortable with. So we'll do a lot of, I think you'll know, like a little bit of herbies and things like that. I hope we'll go down with a calf injury, but it's not actually really serious. Just to buy time to think out what you're going to do, and also just to maybe disrupt their momentum a bit and things like that.
Yeah.
So we try to play smart. My biggest philosophy: if you get a yellow, get the ball. Like if you get the ball, you control the game. Like then the lineout's not that bad. You can win the ball. We can dictate. We can still attack. But as soon as you man down and you're defending, that's where the pressure comes, because there's a man short, also working harder. And when you're working harder, you're trying more. So you're trying to steal a ball where you maybe shouldn't. Then you start giving away penalties. And that's sort of like a slippery slope that happens there. Yeah. So for me, my philosophy with a yellow, if my team gets one, get your hands on the ball, but now need to be clever, like you just chatted about. Like, why would you quick tap now when you get a yellow?
Yeah, no,
now you're speeding the game up where you need to maybe slow it down. So for me, that's the decision there. Like if we have the ball, maybe now we take 2 minutes to kick the touch. We'll walk, kick out, walk to the line out, take slow, boom, get the line out. Then we maybe get a penalty, discuss, are we going for balls? But we know what we're doing. We're actually just hitting touch again.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you buy time. You buy time. That's basically what you do. Or you go for balls. Because now you say, I'm on the 10, let's hit the balls. That's 2 minutes off the clock at least. And you sort of build, you sort of try and frustrate the other team. What you try to do.
Don't let them play. Yeah. All right, we're about to wrap up. So I want to talk a little bit maybe about women's rugby, you know, just in general. Because let's say you go to a Varsity Cup match. I mean, there are women everywhere. There are girls all the time. People watch rugby. So what do you think sort of needs to be done to get more girls playing rugby? Because I can't name you a single women's rugby club in South Africa except for UCT and maybe Wits. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I have to agree with you. My thing for me, I'm starting, like, remember when we started playing rugby? We started at the age of 7 or 6. Women don't have that. They start on the age of 18 or 19, or you go to club. At this present moment, I'd like to see in South Africa, you need to make it earlier, because I think that's where the fun element comes in. That's where the playing for mates, the playing with your friends, the passing, that comes in. 18 is for me is a little bit, it's far, it's late in life to learn new things, but it's doable. So for me, that needs to happen. You need to make it fun for women. You need to stop thinking about it as a man's sport. How does men do it? We get there, we talk shit, we warm up, we high five. The women culture is not like that. So you don't copy and paste. I don't think copy and paste is. I think you need to make it fun. Women, you need to make it fun for them and what they're about. And you need to make it like how they can enjoy it. And I think if they get enjoyment out of it and they don't feel that they get put in a box, like you butch if you play rugby, you and that sort of, if you can make it like this is just another sport to excel at, and this is how you play it, step, pass, create space, I think you'll get more involvement And I do think you need, because you've played rugby, you need to have coaches there that thinks out of the box. Because if you go there and your first is rucking and tackling 101, I mean, if I was a woman losing me there, I'm not tackling for the first 15 minutes when I'm 18 years old. I want to pass the ball. I want to do the fun stuff.
Run around,
Just change your mindset on how you introduce the game, because it's a later age. You know what I mean? It's 18, 19, 20. They've got opinions. They've got feelings. You need to sort of tap into that kind of quickly, I feel.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. So Gerrie, we're going to take a bit of a break and then talk the Rugby Aotearoa games. But, thank you for giving us the coaching chat. I think maybe now as a fan, I know you high in SA Rugby, don't get me wrong, but like South Africa is sort of up at the top of the world now, rugby-wise. Rugby champions, World Cup champions. I mean, but you've gone from school to school, you've been around. Even though we're at the top of the world now, is there anything that you've seen going from place to place that you like, I wish South African kids playing rugby could learn this thing a long time ago before they get here to UCT or to Paarl Boys first team, we have to teach them that again. What's the one thing before you wrap up?
If I have to take out one thing, I'll say passing. We are not a big passing nation, left and right. We struggle to move the ball because we play with very much plans. We play with a lot of structure. And I would say passing and freedom. Let kids play, let them experiment. Because when they come to me at varsity level, it's easy to say, geez, look at how this guy plays. Let's just do this and this with him, and this will make it better. But now you get a player, you can't really do the basics well. And you sort of have to figure out a role for him. And you need to teach him these things. Where I think if we just focus more on the individual, the passing, the skill, and also a player needs to think, like, hey, they're a man down in the wing, let's play wide and then kick. That a player needs to pick that up. Where in South Africa, I feel players don't really do that as much. They wait for instruction because that's how they've been to school. Where I would like to feel, I like to come half time to a circle. Oak must tell me what's happening there. Harry, this is happening. We need to change. I'll say, okay, I think do this. We had a great guy on our team this year, Gerald Peterson. Good thinker in that sense. He was very much, hey, their winger hangs back. I think if we play. And that's the type of players I would like South Africa to see produce for. Because that's the thinkers of the game. That's oaks that they change on an instant. And I would love to see that in South Africa. Because I think we're very much structured based. And we won the World Cup, which is amazing. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. But we won it with a very simplistic style. We kick, we tackle, we put you under pressure. If you can't cope, we've got you. If you cope, it's a different thing. Like
it's a different story.
I would like a youth at least. You take chances. You're 17 years old. You're 20 years old. It's an exciting time of your life. You know what I mean? Like play with that. Play like take a chance. You know, grow as a rugby player. You don't just overnight become a great rugby player. It's about experimenting. It's about skills. It's about all that stuff. Like, I mean, take you as a youth. Like, you don't start just by drinking vodka out of the bottle. You go, you take a bit here, you drink a bit here. You experiment. And I think in rugby, we're too quick to just say, do this. We need to experiment more. And that will be my thing.
Exactly. Yeah, thanks for that. That's Gainline with the Rugby Collective, Gerrie Visser. We're going to talk some rugby at Tora, so he's not going to leave us just yet. Thanks so much.